Hey everyone, now sometimes I just want to jump down a well, but people think I'm crazy and say I'll die, and local authorities won't allow me to, so I decided to live my fantasies throughout a video game.
Downwell is a roguelike vertical platformer shooter developed by Ojiro Mappin Fumoto and was published in October 2015 by Devolver Digital. This game is all about you, the character, just falling down a well, fighting enemies, and collecting the gems off the remnants of their dead bodies. The only problem is, you clearly don't have a weapon to fight against these enemies. Sure, you can stomp on them, but not all enemies are able to be stomped on.
Now, the only logical way to kill enemies is with a gun, but it's hard to aim while going down a well at top speeds. So, you know what? Guess we're just gonna have to use the gun. For my foot.
Yes, the whole gimmick of this game is the gun boots that your character uses. These allow you to kill all enemies and grant you a few frames of airtime so you can land on that platform that you may have missed otherwise, or to glide from one platform to the next. If you kill multiple enemies in a row without touching the ground, then you can get a combo going, and at a certain point, you can earn gems, gun ammo, and health from that combo. In the well, there are these things called time voids. These allow the player to stop time around them so no enemies can move, and if an enemy touches a time void, they explode. In these time voids, there tends to be a doorway that leads to a room with either a pile of gems or a gun module. The gem piles give you 100 gems, and the gun module can either give you health and a different weapon, or just a different weapon and ammo. These gun modules help change the game and make Downwell more like a roguelike game. After stomping on enemies for a while and the gem counter going up, it starts to seem kind of pointless, but let me assure you that these gems are very helpful. During gameplay, there's a chance that anywhere within a level a shop can appear, and this shop can have ammo upgrades which increase the amount of max ammo you have, there can be health on varying amounts, and there can be increased max health by 1, which increases your max health by 1. And the shop isn't the only place that gems are useful in this game. You can get a gem high which increases your damage for a short period of time, and after the enemies around you brutally slaughter you, the amount of gems you had throughout the run will be put into a bar and will fill it up. Each time the gem bar is filled up, you get something new, like a new theme, a new siding if you're on console or PC, or what is most important, a new style of gameplay. In Downwell, when you first start the game and fall down the well, you get to pick what style you want to play as, but the first time you play, you only have the usual style with 4 other styles unlocked. Each style allows for the game to be a bit different. The usual style gives you the usual stuff, 4 health, 3 upgrades after each level, and normal amounts of gems and gun modules and time voids. The arm spin style gives you 4 health, only gun modules and time voids, 3 upgrades after each level, and shops are rare. A boulder style starts you off with 6 health, but only 2 upgrades after each level. Everything else is the same. The levitate style is the same as the usual style, but the playstyle is a bit more floaty, like Luigi in the Game Boy Advance Super Mario World. And finally, the headstand style. This gives you no upgrades but cheaper shop items, and honestly, this doesn't seem too bad. I could easily do this style in real life. After a certain amount of gems, you will have the ability to play as all of these characters, and personally, I would stick with the arm spin style. It gives you the same things as the usual style, but with the only gun module thing, you have a higher chance of getting health, and a higher chance of getting more ammo, which I think is good for the late game. And speaking of health, whenever you have full health and pick up a health item, 1 notch on the bar below the health bar will go up. Get all 4 notches and your max health will go up by 1. This will be helpful in later worlds, trust me. While going through each world, you need to get past 3 levels to progress to the next world with another set of 3 levels. Each world has a different gimmick, the first one being the caverns, which has normal and basic enemies. The second world is the catacombs, which now introduces spike platforms which, whenever you stand on them, a large spike pops out, and there are different enemies, most of them with the same concept as the first world. The third world is the Aquafire, and if you couldn't tell by its title, it is a goddamn water level. 3 water levels, back to back, with an air meter. I don't want this. World 4 is Limbo. There's no ground or enemies, there's only weird flame things shooting from above or below, with different pieces of furniture floating around that you can hop on to regain your gun boot ammo. And finally, the final world, the Abyss. This doesn't have 3 levels, it starts with a shop, and the only way down is through a bunch of blocks. I feel a boss level coming. If a boss level is what you were thinking, then you would be correct, and this boss is something special. You go down through a series of sections trying not to get eaten from the boss's mouth, above or below, and you have to constantly hit the boss. The boss can shoot enemies from its mouth, and as you shoot it, the boss gets pushed further and further down until it just drops, and you go through each world theme fighting the different enemies and dodging weird white orbs that are shot from the boss's mouth. But once you finally beat the boss, you get to understand why you went down this well to begin with.
Yes, this is why you went down the well. You lost your cat down there.
How did the cat get there? Why is the well so big? This game makes no sense, you may say. And yes, you would be right, and you may think that beating the boss was the end of the game, but you would be mistaken. After beating the boss, you're greeted back to the start of the game, but now once you go back down the well, there's an option to the left of the styles. It is a skull. Turn on the skull, and this game gets a hell of a lot more difficult. New enemies with increasing difficulty and more gimmicks added into each world. Like in the first world, there are a lot more enemies and a black orb that is constantly chasing you down the entire level. These weird shell creatures are a thing now, and you have to bounce on them to kill them. And now the green orbs that are difficult on their own come in pairs. This hurts me mentally. In the second world, the spikes that you normally would step on and then the spikes would shoot up are now on a time-set pattern, and there are still the black orbs following you. In the third world, the air meter is depleted quicker, making you want to breeze through the 3 levels as fast as possible, because not only does the air deplete quicker, but the air tanks to replenish your air aren't there anymore. They are just single bubbles floating around.
I honestly hate water levels. I'd rather drown.
The fourth world has all enemies from previous world out to get you. This is difficult as hell, but then you get to the boss and it isn't really that bad. You only have to deal with past world gimmicks and past enemies, and the light orbs are shot out more frequently and in bursts of 2. And once you finally beat the game for a second time, you can rest easy knowing that you saved your cat and you can finally be happy again.
Now, saving cats is great and all, but I would really like to try that headstand style one more time. Oh, god damn it.